Well, hello everybody, so it's Peter here, down in the old man shed. Yes, so the first video for 2022, and it's 25th of January, it's 2:30 in the afternoon on a Tuesday. Got the door shut, I got the heater on because it's a bit parky, alright, might be, well, parky for a southern London wuss, okay, but it's been a bit cold down here. So I haven't been down here playing trains all the time, okay? But I come down here to make a video, to check in on you guys and say hello. And just to show you what I've been up to as regards, not the layout is fine. Even now I've got it running around. After I've got the heater on, after being down here for about an hour or so, it does bring the old shed up to a nice environment, and so therefore I started running a couple of trains round and just checking, but the layout is superb, it's still running well. But I've got a couple of projects that I've been working on as regards the rolling stock on the layout, and that's what I want to sort of show you on this video, show what I've been up to. Alright, so let's have a look. Right, so okay, this is the project that I've been working on as regards the layout. It's these trains. We're looking at the three, well, the one's just disappeared into the tunnel now, the three Europhoenix class 37s. As you know, just before Christmas, before the last show, I offered of the internet, bought second hand the Lima class 156 loco DMU, so that the purpose of making a drag, so that the 37 coming into view now, that's what they do in real life, and that's what I wanted to recreate, because these locos, they don't pull freight, they don't, well, they might pull passenger excursions, but they don't work, as far as I've noticed on videos, I don't see them working for network rail, putting, you know, their stuff around, rail treatment stuff or anything like that. You've got the rail treatment train behind them, but you don't even see them pairing up pulling those. They literally are used to pull these DMUs, EMUs, passenger stock, whatever, from here to there, getting delivered, getting in storage, getting scrapped, whatever. So if you got your Europhoenix 37, if you want to sort of you know, have a nod to the real world, you wouldn't really be running anything behind them other than what I've done, and I've not seen it done, so that's why I did it, because it gives my locos something to do, and I haven't seen anybody doing it in the modelling world, even at exhibitions. Now, not, you know, maybe I'll go and give them ideas now that I've seen what can be done. So because it works well with the 156 there, the little Lima version, I then, as you know, went out and got two Bachmann 158s, courtesy of our model club shop, at a very reasonable price. And they were only DC versions, they weren't DCC ready. And just to answer again a question, because people thought I've ruined them, I haven't ruined them. I've disconnected what I needed to disconnect so they would be freewheeling and then be able to get pulled behind the loco. So that's what I did. I mean, with an hour's work and a bit of soldering, I can have them back to the way they were when I bought them, because nothing's been damaged, just parts are being removed. And then someone else said, oh yeah, but you know, that's a lot of money there, you know, you had a DMU there, there's a train in its own right. Well, yes, I know, but I wanted to create a drag for my 37s. So what am I going to do? Because that's what they do. And although they cost, well, the Lima version of the Lima I think was 60 quid off the internet, and I think the other two, one was 90, one was 100. And you go, whoa, that's a lot of money for something that's not even a working train anymore. But it is a working train because it's behind the 37 being a drag. And the way I look upon it, if I wanted to buy a rake of freight wagons, of which I'll run the minimum of 8 on this layout, it gets away with having at least 8, or you know, and I've got the 15 cement ones. Well, the last freight wagon I would have liked to have got would be the Dapol, the Yeoman ones, you know. But I mean, look at the cost of them for each wagon. Okay, so you know, if you're going to buy at least 6 or 8, that's hundreds of pounds. And I didn't pay hundreds of pounds for these trains that I've now got running behind the 37. All right, so that's my reasoning. But the project I've been working on is this one's going around now with a 156, and the 158s, they didn't work as well. They wouldn't run happily around behind the loco. I had to create a barrier wagon, and the first barrier wagon, as you know, I came up with was this one, just literally a backman wagon, stuck a transfer on the side, and that, because of the movement with the wheels and everything, that overcame the restriction of the coupling to the loco, because the coupling to this and then this to the loco, it all worked. But I wasn't happy, and then in the real world, they're not the wagons they use. So let's see what I've been up to. Okay, so this is what we set off with, just the normal wagon that I just stuck some transfers on. But on the old computer there's a picture of the real thing, what they do use in the real world, and it's obviously a coach that's been converted to act as a transfer vehicle or barrier wagon. Okay, so this is what I set out to try and create, and I thought, right, let's have a look. So this is what I picked up for 10 quid off of eBay. It's a Lima GUV wagon or coach, whatever, alright, in post office livery, but that didn't matter because as you know, I've got to try and get it to be blue, so I wasn't worried about that. It's all going to get stripped down and repainted and transfers and everything. So it's a Lima, only cost 10 quid, but it's a GUV wagon, alright, which I didn't know at the time, but it's not the correct wagon, but I wasn't really bothered about that. This was going to be a project to see if it worked, so let's see what happens. Okay, so there you go. The first thing I had to do was fill in the windows with levelling plaster, a bit of plaster, a bit of filler. Alright, I took the roof off, it all came apart quite well, and then what I did is the roof and the glass was all one moulding. Okay, I didn't want that. I wanted the glass to be stuck firmly in their windows because I was going to fill them, and I didn't want them getting pushed in and then all the filler getting broken out because you picked up the coach and you squeezed the window in accidentally. They had to be firm, so that's what I did. So let's have a look. And so here, as you can see now, the roof was cut off, leaving just enough to be able to still put it back on, and it's still held in place, but now the plastic windows are stuck in place. And as you can see, the chassis and the bogies and everything came off from the body, ready for painting very easily. I mean, I didn't want to touch that. Here you see I've changed the bogies. I've swapped them out from on my network rail coaches, which are Hornby, because the wheel sets that come with the GUV, they're not even up to date. They've got to have this the red springs and the yellow axle centers and everything. So I haven't done any damage because they literally, you know, the way Hornby wagons are, they pop in and out. You know, there's no screws, they just press in and out. I had to do a little bit of adjustment to the wagon itself so that could be done, because the Hornby bogies didn't fit the Lima ones properly without some attention, which I'll talk about later. But that's that stage. All right. Sprayed the body with primer, the old Halford's primer, grey primer. Roof are left alone because that got a coating of grey, of black Halford's paint from the rattle can. But the body I painted with brush paints. All right, because I can paint because I'm an ex-modeler and everything. But yeah, so whereas I sprayed the body in the grey primer to begin with, for the actual finish I hand painted, and then the whole thing was done finished with a semi-matte varnish. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, so as I say, there's a picture of the real McCoy. By the time I've done all my bits and pieces to my little model, this is how she turned out. So you can see where I filled the windows in. Put some handrails on. Obviously the rail operators group decals, the cant rails on the top. The whole thing's finished in a semi-matte varnish, semi-gloss varnish rather, that's what it's called. As you can see, the wheels there are the same as what the real pictures are. Black roof, but as people kindly told me, oh, it's not the right wagon, not the right coach. You've used a GUV wagon. Well, yes, I know, because I didn't know how it's going to turn out, but as it turns out, it turns out bloody good, to be honest. Especially when it's going around on the track. I'll show you in a minute. But you see, the end is just it's not the right thing, because I didn't know that this thing had a corridor that's obviously been all filled in. So I thought to myself, oh, that's all right, I don't have to do any filling there. That's the end of that. It's already just put my warning labels on and things like that. So yeah, and as I said, I've had to adapt to the bottom. There's the Hornby bogie, which obviously clips back into the network rail coach when I want to use it again. It takes literally a second to do, just like it takes a second to pop that in there. So although it's floppy, once it's on the track, it's looking very good. But there you go. And I'll show you some shots with this running around with the 158s in a minute. So that's a project I was very happy with. Turned out all right. But I'm not finished, because now I know this is not the right coach. Oh, you know what I'm up to when I can find the right things, because I've done it once. We'll see what we do again. All right, so stand by. Okay, so you've seen it, the Class 37 put in the 156. Now let's see what she's like put in a 158 using the transfer coach with my coach that I've created. There you go, sweet as a nut, works perfectly, and doesn't look a million miles away from how it is in the real world, although I've used the wrong coach. Wait for it to come round again. And I've also worked a little bit more on the actual 158s, and to be honest, although I will use it because it is nice with this barrier transfer coach, I don't actually need to use the coach, because I've worked on the couplings, and it just turned out I just needed to work on the hunt coupling itself, just shave off a little bit, make it a bit thinner. So again, without touching the actual the 158 bodywork or anything like that, didn't touch the valance at all, the opening to make it wider. Instead what I did is made the coupling thinner, so it had more room to move within the valance opening, and runs absolutely sweet. And as you can see, everything's quite close. The barrier wagon's close to the loco, close to the 158, and the 158 itself, you know, they're all close fitting, and yet it all goes round the second radius curve, no problems. Right, is that the end of the story? No, it's not. Here we go. Okay, so as you know, with the Bachmann Class 37, it comes with just a conventional hook on the end of each end. But if you're going to employ it to be pulling these DMUs, EMUs, or whatever with the transfer coach and everything, the coupling is different. All right. So what you're looking at here is the real thing fitted to the real 37, and in this case, this hook, or coupling mechanism, is called a Dellner, D-E-L-L-N-E-R coupling system. You can still see the original hook on the loco, but now we've got this device here where you've got the male and female in both parts of the coupling at the end to go onto the back of the coach and stuff, and then obviously this would raise up to connect with the train. All right, so that's one called the Dellner, and this is the second version which you can have fitted, which is called a tight lock. And again, it's just connected to the hook there, which is there, and in this case it's like the type of coupling that you would go around a knuckle joint, but it's called a tight lock, but it's the same thing. Oh, and as you notice that this 37 is 37800, which is Cassiopeia, which I've got running around the layout at the moment, but I haven't got it fitted with this, because yes, this is what I've done, guys. Okay, that's the next stage of getting the complete train look-alike. Let's have a look. And so here we are. Thanks for some lovely 3D printing. We have the Delner version here of the coupler, and we have the tight lock version down there. So as you can see, there's only a little bar sticking out on both of them. The thing actually pivots. You can see the hook there now, just showed it. So it doesn't take me a second to take one of these out, just like they probably do with the real locos, and then attach the other version. Alright, so depending what depending on what your where am I? I've lost it. Yeah, depending what stock you're moving around, you would change this hook. I think at the moment Cassiopeia is actually fitted with this one, the tight lock. There's lots of pictures on YouTube at the moment showing with drags using that coupling system. But there you are. So shall we have a look and see what it's like on the train, on the loco? So coming round the front, there's the new coupler sitting out on the front of the loco, and I'll bring it round again. All good stuff. This, incidentally, are the other two releases from Hornby that I've noticed. That's possibly all I'm going to buy myself this year. I want to get 2 more of those DRS coaches when they come out. For some reason, when they first released this set, which is what they released a year or 2 back, they released the centre car and 2 end cars, you know, what do you call them, baggage cars at the end. So you got 2 baggage, then you got the centre, then you got another baggage. Why they did that I don't know, but now evidently they're releasing some more of the same livery, so I want to just treat myself to a couple of coaches, and that's it, I'm afraid. So the new high prices of Hornby won't be affecting me too much, because that's all I'm after. Right, let's have a look at the coupling at the front of the loco. Well, there we are. That's what she looks like on the front of Cassiopeia 37800. Just as she would do in the real world, as she's been fitted with a Delner coupler instead of the tight lock version. But for my I can change them out anyway, because I showed you I've got the 2 types, courtesy of Precision 3D Models, who make the 3D resin printed little couplings. It needed it only comes in black, and there's a couple, they show you there's a couple of places to highlight it with silver paint to replicate, as you saw the photo of the real thing. It's got some bolts and everything in strategic places, so and obviously some little bits of contact connections and things, so I've replicated that by getting the silver paint out onto that little model, and a little bit of what I call copper slip as well on the very front of the joint, which is very hard to see because it's facing downwards, but that's what I've done. Okay, so there we are. So that completes the train. So with that at the end on the actual loco, and pulling a DMU unit and everything, with a barrier wagon, with or without a barrier wagon, that's what these 37s do in the real world. Now I've got just one more thing about the 37s and then I'm finished. Right, so I've been asked how I've managed to get 3 Class 37s in the Europhoenix liveries. First one you just seen going around, Cassiopeia, is as she comes straight from Bachmann. You know, that is the 37800 is from Bachmann as Cassiopeia. So I didn't do anything to that. The one you're looking at now, saying Rail Operators Group, was in fact the first release from Bachmann's, which actually had the word Europhoenix down the side in grey. So, but in the real world, Europhoenix lease it out to the Rail Operators Group, and which of course they put their own, they took the wording off and they put their own branding on there, the Rail Operators Group. So that involved removing the old Europhoenix wording, which in all honesty was rubbing off, and that was the trouble with it, guys. Okay, so be careful how you handle these logos, because the word Europhoenix was actually rubbing away. So that's how I got into all this, because I thought, oh no, you know, my model's ruined because all the tampo printing was coming off. So hopefully, you know, thankfully there are some transfers out there so you can do all these versions. And we've got the nameplate as well, because in this case it's now Cepheus, but the actual running number is still exactly the same as the one from Bachmann, so it's 37884, which is what you would have under the word Europhoenix from Bachmann. Okay, so that's how I got my second rail operators group. This one next to it, as you know, is the project I've been working on, which was the Merleys Pioneer. And this is how I was hoping it's all going to finish up, ending, you know, running on the main lines, because on the Facebook page, Europhoenix Facebook page, is talking about Merleys Pioneer. That's, I was correct. The bogey sets are looking like that now because they've been refurbished. They were all originally just all black before. Now they have got the yellow end caps and the red springs. So she looks, at this moment in time, she looks like that, with the word Europhoenix, because that's the company that owns these 37s, and they leased them out to Rail Operators Group. And of course now what I'm thinking, this may not be the end for this model, because even though I've put the new roof on, even though I've put the word Europhoenix on and the Merleys Pioneer nameplate and the new bogey frames and one thing and another, still got his standard couplings on this one, because I don't know what's going to happen with it. But I have a feeling that because they say, oh, she's going to go out onto the main and do mainline duties again, well, as I said, the company is Europhoenix. They leased it out, and if they lease it out to the Rail Operators Group, well, guess what? I think I'm going to end up with it looking like that, but just called Merleys Pioneer. So thankfully, and I'm waiting to see what's going to happen, I haven't sealed the word Europhoenix as a transfer, obviously, and didn't get it sat down beautifully, and I didn't get round to actually sealing it yet, which is just as well, because if that has to come off and the Rail Operators Group branding going back on, well, that saves me a world of pain, because it's not going to be half as messy as it could have been. So there we are. Oh, but there we are, guys. So that's all of them. That's the stage. That why it still gives me a reason to come down to the shed to play trains. The layout itself is good, and as you saw, operational. They're the coaches. I want to get another one of the middle coach, the normal coach. I think I'm not going to spend, what is it, £70 a pop for the Bachmann version. Let's take this out. No, not when I can just have the good old Hornby ones running around like I have. But there we are, guys. So there we are, 3 37s. Okay, so just to finish off this part of the video, I'll put the sound on, so I'm shouting over it now. And we've got the 37 coming round with the other set of 158s, with the transfer coach put back on again, because she does look the business, which I think you agree, it does look good. I'm very happy with that. But of course, I'm looking into getting the correct wagons next, because so it's not finished yet. But there we are, guys. So I hope you've enjoyed what I've been up to. Just modelling projects like I do, and it all involves these class 37s at the end of the day, and their trains. So if you stay put, there's some more clips of the same with the sounds and close-ups and you know what I do. But in the meantime, there you are. It's lovely, and everything's working fine, even though it's a cold day. But I've enjoyed myself making this, as I say, first video of the year, and I hope there'll be many more. So everybody take care, be safe, and I'll see you next time. All right, so goodbye, bye.